Hi there, everyone, and welcome to the Why Music Podcast, the podcast where we explore different musicians and their music and musical concepts throughout history. Before we get stuck into today's podcast, please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Every single time you like and you share and you subscribe, it helps get this podcast out to more people who might be interested in the music and the musicians and the musical concepts that we talk about in this show. I really enjoy getting emails from listeners. And so if you have a question or if you have a suggestion for a podcast episode, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me and we'll see if we can make it happen. If you do want to send me an email, you can do so at thewhybooks@gmail.com. That's thewhybooks@gmail.com. And now back to the show. So today we're going to be talking about a person whose music you might have heard before, but you might not know that much about the person themselves. Today, we're going to learn all about Koji Kondo. Koji Kondo was born in Nagoya, Japan in 1961. Now, I don't know if you tuned into season 1, episode 12, but if you did, you might remember that the Beach Boys also released their debut single called Surfin' in 1961 as well. Like so many other people we've learned about, Koji started exploring music early in his life, and he started to play the electric organ when he was 5 years old. As he got older, he began to explore the music that he had heard when he was playing some of his favorite arcade games. Now, I know some of you might not know what arcade games are, but before Nintendo Switches and PlayStation 5s and different apps that you can download onto an iPad, people had to go to special places called arcades where there would be lots of different machines which allowed you to play different games. Some of these games you may have heard of before, games like Pong or Pro Tennis or Wheels or Space Invaders. Koji's love for arcade games allowed him to bring his two passions together, and he started to write music for computer games and ended up joining a company called Nintendo in 1984. I want to play a little game with you today. Let's see if you can shout out the name of the track that Koji Kondo is most famous for before I tell you what the track is. Listen to the hints and shout out the answer when you know it. Koji listened to a wide range of music, and as he developed as a musician and as a composer, the music that he listened to helped to influence his style. He listened to everything from rock to pop to Japanese fusion and jazz. He was actually even a fan of the pianist Chick Corea, who we looked at in season 1, episode 7. Koji didn't waste any time. The first video game that he officially wrote the music for was a game called Punch Out, which came out in that same year of 1984. Just 1 year later, he created the music for a game which has gone on to sell over 50 million copies worldwide. And one of the characters from that game is probably the most famous character from any video game in history. Have you figured out the track yet? Have you figured out which game I'm talking about? The game was called, drumroll please, Super Mario Brothers. I'm sure many of you listening have heard it before. Sing along if you know it. Do you recognize it? So many people have heard this tune, and there are so many different versions of it floating around the internet. But here's one that sounds really interesting to me. It was recorded during lockdown by Mickey Voltano and his big band, who were playing it with the legendary saxophone player Eric Marinthal. Have a listen. But it's not only this track that Koji made that has become really famous. He also wrote the music for another video game which sold over 6.5 million copies worldwide, called Zelda. Let's see if you recognize this. He has had a very impressive career and has gone on to inspire many composers of video game music and other styles as well. In fact, he has contributed to over 100 video games in his career so far. Before we go, I want you to have a quick listen to this song. It's called Sister Marion by a band called T-Square, who were a Japanese fusion band. Does that sound familiar? Well, funny enough, Koji Kondo himself actually said that T-Square were an influence on him when he created the music for Super Mario. Go have a listen to it and see if you can hear the differences and the similarities between the songs. That's all we've got time for today, so please make sure that you like and subscribe, and where possible share it with your friends and family and anyone who might be interested in listening to podcasts like this. If you get a chance, please go and play the game Super Mario Bros. For yourself. If you do that, you'll be able to hear how the music interacts with how you play the game, and also a couple of other different themes, such as the underground theme and the water theme, which are also really, really popular. Take care of yourselves, tune in next time for another episode, and